Happy Sunday and welcome back to my channel. I've been noticing lately, and especially like the last part of last year, that home trends and decor trends has been changing a lot. For the better part of last decade, we were kind of stuck in this white with pink peonies, with rose gold and marble. We're moving away from that, and there are some really beautiful and amazing trends for 2020. So I thought it would be a really fun video to go through some of those predictions and how you can start to incorporate them into your home. Also turn thrifted items into 2020 trends. So sorry, I just got really distracted by all of the good thrift stuff that I've been finding lately, and not even just for this video, for other things. So if you guys don't already follow me on Instagram, I show you guys like behind the scenes of me going thrift shopping, like these beautiful art books. They're leather with gold embossing, gold edges. They're all different colors. This one's like burnt orange. This one's kind of like a different burnt orange. This one's kind of like a different burnt orange. So let's get into prediction and trend number one. So for trend number one, something that I gravitate towards at every flea market or thrift store that I go to is organic shaped pottery. At the thrift store, we are looking for organically shaped pottery that has some texture or some odd shapes that are really round in shape. Nothing with really sharp edges. So let's go to the thrift store.
I love the texture that this one has. $7.99, which is kind of higher than I wanted. Oh, but it was marked $30. That's why they marked it up so high. Like, look how cool this bowl is, like on a coffee table or entryway for keys. It's so unique. $7.99. Interesting texture on this one, making it kind of like an organic kind of texture. And then this taller one that has a similar texture.
So also for 2020, using monochromatic colors in your decor is going to be big. Some of the colors that are going to be really popular for 2020 are burnt orange, mauve, and terracotta. And you guys have already seen me use so much terracotta in my own home. So I thought it would be fun to paint these vases in those colors and make them really pop. Talk to the guy at the paint desk, because I'm always learning about like what's best or what's not. So to paint ceramic, the best is to use an enamel oil-based paint. All of the paints at Lowe's are enamel, but they're acrylic based, which is still good, but could scratch off over time. The higher the gloss, the more durable it's going to be. We got our paints from Lowe's, Autumn Russet and Kitchen Terracotta. So first we need to clean up these vases, get all the stickers off. They're in really good condition. There's no like grime or anything on them. I'm gonna take a damp cloth and get all of that sandpaper residue off and all of the dust. Paint in the same direction, so we're gonna go side to side around the whole thing. I think this is such a simple DIY that you can do, finding a ceramic base at the thrift store and painting a color to really give any room either a pop of color that you want, or upcycling a vase maybe you already have that doesn't match your decor anymore and you wanna bring a new color and new life to it. Even though these are both solid, they both have so much texture. Like this even has like a different texture on the top than the bottom, and then this one has all of the wavy tones, so it still adds interest and texture and organic lookingness to the vases. Styled in a room with some like really contrasting flowers would be so pretty. two is to really embrace metals this year, specifically silver and brass, and not the traditional shiny reflective brass, more of an antiqued aged brass. Brass and silver aren't metals that I normally gravitate towards. Usually I look for gunmetal or matte black type metals. Maybe I will now, because I was at the flea market recently. I found these cute brass swans. Might be the cutest thing I think I've ever seen. So I thought it would be fun to search at the thrift store for something that we could turn into brass or brass looking.
I feel like this mirror is just needing to be brass. I realize that I can't make it really brass, but I can make it brass in color for $14.99. Not bad. I mean, it's a pretty good size mirror, but it would be so pretty in a brass.
I have a technique that I want to show you guys on how to turn a piece of wood or really any type of surface into looking like brass, and it's really easy. So let's get started. So first we need to prep this mirror for painting. So I'm gonna go over it with some glass cleaner first to get off all of the gunky residue and the sticker, and then back over the rim where we're actually gonna paint it with a wet damp cloth and a dry cloth, just to get all of the now glass cleaner residue off of it so that the paint will adhere really well. Next I'm gonna cut out a piece of paper just to make sure that the mirror part is all covered so that it doesn't get paint on it, and then we're gonna take it outside. The base of our bronze, I picked up this aged metallic Rust-Oleum spray paint in vintage gold. And so this is gonna act as our kind of metallic and base for our brass. I'm just gonna spray the rim of the mirror all down with the vintage gold and then wait for it to dry. Okay, so now that our gold is all dry, we're gonna make it like more brass looking, not so bright gold. So I'm gonna use some acrylic black paint and some water, and I'm gonna mix it together to kind of create a glaze so that it kind of adds a metal kind of look to the surface. We're just gonna add water slowly. We wanna get the right consistency, and we can always add more. So instead of using a paintbrush, I'm either gonna use some sponges or a rag, because I want it not to have any defined strokes. I want it to kind of be like milky. So it's gonna blot on there pretty thick. You can go back with another sponge and kind of even it out and get rid of any dark spots and kind of smooth it out a little bit. So I found that the best way was to use the sponge to apply the black glaze onto the surface, and then use the rag to blot it and blend it all in together. So I was really going for it to look like my little swan, and I think it came out pretty good. So I have some antique gold acrylic paint just for little touch-ups around the inside of the mirror. I kind of see there's some places where the spray paint missed. So I'm just gonna take a really thin brush and some matching paint color to the spray paint and just kind of do some touch-ups. Project. This is playing off of the trend that we're gonna be seeing a lot of 80s silhouettes and shapes in furniture. That could be both really bad or really good, because I think that we're gonna do it now in a way that's very stylish and classic, really just taking the idea that furniture is rounded. And I've already seen amazing collections, like Gwyneth Paltrow just did a collection with CB2. So we are on a mission today to find something that we can turn into kind of that vibe, that circular, that rounded type 80s silhouette.
So I found this pretty much particle board round, small little dining table. A really strange shape right now, but it's the perfect size to transform it. It's $19.99.
Okay, wait. I got to the register fully prepared to pay $20 for this table. It was $1. $1. I had no idea. I usually know all the sales. I actually saw a table on West Elm that was the inspiration for this table. 80s style shape. It has lots of rounded edges. They sell a side table. This one's not gonna cost us that, but give us a really cool shape and also be bigger so that it could create kind of like a little dining room situation.
Okay, so we have been on a mission today. Go by local fabric stores to see if they were throwing away any of the round bolts that were inside the old fabric and recycle them. And oh bam, look at all of those that I found so far. We have one more place to hit up because I think I need a few more to go around the table, but it's such a cool way to recycle. We not only got the table for $1, but we're also using all of this recycled material to build this 80s style silhouette table. Some are 4-inch and then some are really skinny. Some are like in the middle.
Okay, so the plan is to attach the tubes to the bottom of this table, the underneath side of the top of the table, and kind of make them go up like that, like pillars. So they'll kind of sit next to each other, like so, in a particular pattern. I was worried about the bottom not having enough support, so I got a round piece of already pre-cut wood. This is way more expensive than you really should have to pay for a round piece of wood, which is why I really need to up my wood cutting game and get some tools. So my plan is to put it on the bottom here as a support, and then the poles will be cut to slip right underneath this bottom part, and then it can glue to this side and this side underneath the table. 1.5-inch long wood screws, 4 of them, and I'm just going to drill these screws and attach the bottom piece to the legs of this table. We need to cut our tubes 27.5 inches tall. One down, a lot more to go. So if you guys want to have a little bit of a special detail like I'm doing, 1 inch longer on part of the tube versus the inside, when I put it onto the table, it'll rest here flat, like it'll be here flat, and then it'll go onto the table like that. So you won't even see this bottom piece. And I think that that's going to be a better look for what I'm going for. So if you want to do that, that was really easy. I just cut that with scissors. For these kind of rougher edges here from when we were cutting, I'm just gonna use some sandpaper and sand down those edges really well. I think Drew actually gave me this tip about paper and how you can go in like a downward motion. The aftermath of our cutting session of all of these tubes. But we got all of them cut. So next step is to put them on the table. So I'm going to be using a combination of the E6000 glue for extra strength bond and Gorilla Hot Glue on high temp for extra bond too. So these are going to be pretty strong. So now it's time to paint it, and I definitely need to prime all of the cardboard tubes around the bottom so that we can apply paint on the top of it so it doesn't have a cardboardy look. So I'm gonna go with almond colored, and it's a gloss, so I think it'll give it like less of a cardboardy feel if it has a little bit of shine to it. The smooth white tubes that we got from one of those fabric stores paint so well. That's this one right here. It doesn't have, it's so smooth and doesn't have any like little paper follicles like that. Ooh, if you can find those,
find those.
Another idea that I had, if you don't want to use recycled cardboard tubes, you could also use PVC pipe, because that's a smooth surface.
If you guys really love this style, you want to jump on it early while the thrift stores still have kind of things like this, are vintage accents, specifically antique art and photos with really beautiful frames that have a very vintagey and antique style. Because a trend that's going to be big going forward is really layering in old and new. So if you see some of these pictures at the thrift store, you really like that vintage style look and want to incorporate it, you definitely should. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, definitely give it a thumbs up below. I'm going to be sharing even more trends today on Instagram. So head over to my Instagram at MaCenna Lee so that you guys can check it out. Comment one of the trends that you think is going to be your favorite for 2020 or one that you've already started to incorporate into your home. And if you're not already subscribed to our DIY family, definitely hit that subscribe button below. And I post new videos on home decor, DIYs, and thrift flea market flips, and everything in between every Sunday. So I will see you guys next week. Bye guys. 2020 trends, 2020 trends, 2020 trends, 2020 trends, 2020 trends. Yes, it went in. I was very nervous. He's dead. He helped a lot.